All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thanks for tuning in to our First Alert live stream that's going on right now. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Beylon, and I just saw the push alert that our web director, Ted Miller, he's behind the scenes right now, kind of the grand Oz behind the curtain, making sure everything is working well with this live stream. I just saw his push alert, and he mentioned a sunshine sandwich. Doesn't that sound delicious, right? Think of clouds early and late in the day, and the filling in between is the sun, right? So we got the bread, that's the clouds, the bread, that's the clouds, and then in between the sunshine. So we've seen clouds to start off the day. It does seem like the clouds are thinning out a bit. We'll have more clouds coming in later this afternoon. Enough of me yammering about it. You probably want to go ahead and see it. So let's give you a live view from our Oshkosh Sky Cam. Now, that shot, looking out towards Lake Winnebago, looks a little bit brighter than it did about an hour or two ago. I would say it's partly cloudy, partly sunny right now. Oshkosh is at 39 degrees. It's 34 on the wind chill, and east wind is blowing in right around 7 miles an hour. So, it's not a bad morning out there at all. We will see that the clouds thinning out. Here's a look at our satellite and radar combo, and I'll pop myself on the screen so you can see me there. Hey, look at that. So notice the decreasing clouds that are going on right now in the Fox Valley. There's a little disturbance that's been pushing in our direction, and even some rain and snow showers in northwestern Wisconsin back towards Minnesota. That precipitation has been trying to push towards us, but it's just falling apart. And the reason why is because it's encountering dry air, it's encountering high pressure, and that's just blocking that rain and snow from reaching us, at least for now. And that's also a good reason why these clouds are also thinning out. So I expect that we'll go from clouds to sun, but then later today, clouds will push back into northeast Wisconsin, except they'll be coming in off of the lake. So it's kind of a little bit of a twist there. All in all, it's a variable sky, a changeable sky. And despite the occasional cloudy intervals early and late in the day, it's going to be a little bit milder than it was yesterday. Just a degree or two warmer, a high of 48, and at least it won't be as breezy as it was yesterday. So let's go to First Alert Pinpoint Predictor, and let's start you off looking at those sky conditions. And that's 9 o'clock, so that's about 25 minutes from now, and that's a pretty good match to what you saw in the satellite view. See how the clouds thin out. So it'll actually turn mostly sunny through the midday. Now, watch the clouds over Lake Michigan. Now, normally, you would see clouds going from west to east, right? These clouds will not. They'll be drifting northwest, kind of going in the wrong direction, so to speak. So around 4 o'clock this afternoon and beyond, we'll cloud back over in the Fox Valley. Those clouds will spread into northeast Wisconsin. There might be a shower around this evening. So you may be thinking to yourself, okay, how did that happen? So what's happening is that we've got high pressure in Canada. The wind is coming around high pressure and blowing in out of the east. But that wind will turn to the southeast later this morning into the afternoon. And as that southeast wind blows off of Lake Michigan onshore, that's going to blow some of the moisture on land. So that's going to push that deck of low cloud cover back into northeast Wisconsin in the latter half of the afternoon. Meanwhile, temperatures, well, they'll vary a little bit this afternoon. Our highs will range from the lower half of the 40s to the lower half of the 50s over central Wisconsin. A high of 54 in Wautoma, while 44 is more likely for Marinette, to high of 49 this afternoon in Appleton and in Fond du Lac. All right, let's switch gears and talk about our next weather maker. We're going to have some rain coming in. There's a chance tonight, but most of this precipitation is coming in tomorrow. And as it turns colder tomorrow evening, we could have a few wet snowflakes mixed in. We're going to be kind of at the edge, temperature-wise, precipitation-wise, for that switchover, which sometimes gets a little bit tricky to forecast because, a degree either way could make a big difference between getting a lot of slush and getting a lot of nothing. So we've got a front. It's a cold front that is snaking its way from Minnesota all the way out into the Rockies, down towards the Four Corner States. The main area of low pressure is actually in Manitoba, but there's a secondary area of low pressure right there in Utah, near the Four Corner States. That's actually really our next weather maker because it's going to track through the Central Plains and then glide into the lower Great Lakes. And even though the crux of the energy and a lot of the deeper moisture is going to pass by to our south, it should be close enough where we get some lighter rain as we go into tomorrow. So as we go back to first alert pinpoint predictor, we're picking it up around 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Skies will be cloudy across northeast Wisconsin. Maybe there's a shower, but most of the rain is coming in later Friday morning into the afternoon. Now, areas in the North Woods could possibly avoid the rain, which is unfortunate because we really could use the moisture area-wide. But the best chance of rain will be across east central Wisconsin. Now, look what happens here. This is interesting. Pinpoint predictor starts switching over the rain to wet snow, especially near Door County up along the upper Michigan border. That's 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But according to predictor, that's when a lot of the deeper moisture is moving away. So, yeah, there might be some wet snowflakes heading into Friday evening, but other than a little slushy coating here and there and not everywhere, I'm not really convinced that everybody's going to get some snow. And really, this kind of fits the script to how things have gone this winter, so it doesn't surprise me that this would play out. I do think the rain and snow will be winding down Friday night. Clouds could linger, though, and I do think as you get a west to northwest wind across Lake Superior, the clouds might prove to be a little bit stubborn to clear on out on Saturday. But I do think that Saturday we will have a slow or gradual clearing. This is Pinpoint Predictor's rainfall forecast, about 1/10, maybe 2/10 of an inch of rain in the Fox cities. To the southeast over towards Manitowoc, Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, a little bit more, 1/4 of an inch or perhaps up to 1/3 of an inch. In the North Woods, not much. Maybe just enough to wet the ground, which is unfortunate. With a partly sunny sky in Green Bay, we're at 38, and with only a gentle northeast wind at 3 miles an hour, that is also our wind chill factor. Today, Thursday, variable clouds and some sun, a variable sky, a little milder, high of 48, about 44 along the lakeshore. That southeast wind will be developing for the midday and the afternoon. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a spotty shower is possible, and as the clouds thicken up, temperatures will probably hold steady around and after midnight, low near 34. Here's the First Alert 7-day forecast with showers developing tomorrow, perhaps some late flakes. Cloudy and turning a little bit breezy, kind of a little on the raw side towards the lakeshore at times tomorrow. Friday's high 42. 43 on Saturday, 46 on Sunday. It's a cool weekend, but it's still above normal temperature-wise. I do expect skies to go from partly to mostly sunny. A little bit breezy, but not too bad. By the way, don't forget, the clocks, they need to spring forward this weekend, if you haven't heard. So when you go to bed Saturday night, make sure the clocks go forward an hour so you're not kind of messed up on Sunday. And it's also good when you do that to check the batteries in your smoke detectors or carbon monoxide detectors. If you have a NOAA weather radio, make sure there's fresh batteries in there as well. And other than perhaps a shower as we go into Wednesday and maybe even into Thursday, just beyond the First Alert 7-day forecast, it looks like next week we're warming up. Highs getting into the 50s. We might hit 60 on Tuesday, but I'll be honest, it seems like the computers that guide us in the right direction that far into the future kind of have a little bit of variance with the temperatures that we're expecting around Tuesday of next week. So I've got a 60 penciled in, but it could be a little bit colder, could be a little bit warmer. We'll see. Regardless, any way you slice it, look at our high temperatures compared to what is average or normal. We would typically, at this point in March, see highs in the upper 30s, but 40s above average, 50s to about 60 above average. So warmer than normal weather through the middle of next week and even beyond the next 7 days. This is the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, and this outlook is put out by the Climate Prediction Center. And you can see all those orange and red colors across the Great Lakes all the way up towards New England. That is the high probability of warmer than normal weather. So let's see here, 20, 40, 60. If you look at the coloring there, that's about like what, a 70-80% chance that the temperatures through the middle of March are going to be warmer than normal. I did see there is one computer model that has recently brought in a little blast of some cooler weather leading up to St. Patrick's Day. We'll see about that. But the odds are for the early spring-like temperatures to continue. And you know what? Depending on how you are watching this streaming video, if you're watching it on Roku or you're watching it on YouTube, this may be something you want to know about. Our app, it comes in really handy. We're always giving fresh weather data and pushing that out to the app. including multiple video updates during the day to keep you informed on what's going on with our weather. If you haven't done so, please download our free WBAY First Alert Weather app. You just take your camera, phone and scan the QR code. If you're watching this on your phone, you're going to have a hard time doing that. But if you're watching this on your tablet or perhaps in your living room on an app, you may be able to do that. So it definitely comes in handy. And speaking of updating your forecast, meteorologist Bo Fogel is coming up on Action 2 News at noon and at 4, and he'll be scouring through the latest weather information and pass that along to you. So, gosh, March has come in like a lamb, I guess. And I really don't see any lion in the forecast. No big storm in sight. Yes, there's some showers in the forecast for tomorrow and perhaps towards the middle of next week, but nothing that has me really worried about that late season storm. I mean, we've had so many over the years in March and in April. Remember that April blizzard years ago? I just don't see it. And I'm looking through the long-range forecast data, and I see nothing that really triggers any alarm bells for me. We're at the very tail end of this El Nino weather pattern. Winter has been dominated by El Nino, and that's the primary reason why it's been so warm. To a lesser extent, climate change, but that's more of a long-term thing. But in the short term, this winter has been, heavily impacted by El Nino. It's been the warmest one we've had on record since 1886. El Nino is weakening in the equatorial Pacific, and there's actually a La Nina watch for late summer going into fall. So we are ending El Nino, but it seems like in general that this warmer than normal weather is going to continue through at least the third week of March, and I don't see any big storms that have us really worried here at the First Alert Weather Center. So it's kind of status quo as you go. And I hope we get some rain, because if not, drought conditions are going to become a real issue as we go through the next couple months, including wildfire danger. So that definitely is bearing some watching. All right, well, thanks for tuning in to our First Alert live stream, however you're watching us. And we've got more news and weather coming up on Action 2 News mid-morning at 9 a.m. Catherine Bracho has been tracking a road closure, 41 in the Grand Chute area. She's got the very latest on that crash. And, of course, we've got your top news stories, so we appreciate you tuning in during the day. Have a good one. Enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy the sun while we have it.